Welcome to Mejo's Docuseries on Health Entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship in healthcare is vital for addressing Africa's unique challenges and creating sustainable solutions for communities across the continent. In this series, we explore the journeys of three extraordinary leaders: Dr. Clarke, an Irish-Ugandan physician, entrepreneur, and philanthropist who founded the Chiwoko Hospital and the International Medical Group in Uganda; Dr. William Mapham, a South African ophthalmologist and founder of Vula Mobile, the oldest African health tech company connecting hospitals to specialists; and Tonny Natif, a Ugandan pharmacist, activist, and founder of Garden Health Pharmacy, one of the largest with over 19 stores. Their stories reveal the lessons, challenges, and triumphs that define healthcare entrepreneurship in Africa. Through their experiences, we aim to inspire the next generation of changemakers in healthcare. No leader succeeds alone. Behind every great idea is a team that brings it to life. What makes a successful team? How do these leaders foster trust, cohesion, and a shared vision? Here's their approach to building teams that are not just effective, but transformative.
So, I love being part of a team. Now, I think I'm a natural team leader. I can be part of a team and not be the team lead, but just in the context that I've been in, I've ended up being the team leader. But you have to watch in an organization. If you're an entrepreneur, you can have the vision and you want to build something and you have a team. But if you're so far ahead of your team, and you're not here leading the team or part of the team, you really need to be part of the team, because the team leader is still part of the team. If you get too far ahead of your team, they're just baffled. They're like, what's he doing now? And I actually know I'm part. There's another organization, there's a fairly large organization I'm chairman of, and the guy who leads it is a great visionary, but he tends to get way ahead of his team, and then the team just are like sheep. So it's very important that when you're building because you may be the guy with the vision. You're the guy that's driven. Let's do this. Now you can't do that. There's not so many Einsteins around. There's not so many brilliant solitary geniuses. Most things are built by teams. That's the way it is in the world today. But you must then get the right people on the team. To talk about getting the right people on the bus in the right seats, and then you must be part of that team. And the fact of the matter is, when things go right, you will get praised. When things go wrong, you'll be blamed. Yeah, not so much the members. So the members don't have as much risk as you. But if they're not inspired and motivated by your vision, you won't get there. That team won't be rowing out to get you there. I have believed and still totally believe in giving young people an opportunity. And so many times, a young person rocks up and says, I am qualified for such and such, and they say, do you have any experience? She says, no. I say, well, go away and come back when you've got experience. So come back when you're an old person, when you've got 10 years experience or something. How is that young person supposed to get the experience? And so I very often, and I was building something, I didn't have a lot of money. I was building it from scratch. So young people were not coming along and saying, you've got to pay me 10 million shillings. They were happy to have a job. And so I was able to live within my means while building these young people who could then progress and get, grow within the organization. So the people I built, whether it was Chiwoko Hospital, International Hospital, or whoever with, those people today are in their 50s, late 40s and 50s. And they're all very, very high achievers. And they look back, and most of them are women. The majority are women. And they actually will look back. Sorry, man. Okay. Yeah. Often those guys will look back. They still, some of them meet together, and they say, in whatever I'm doing now. I mean, there's one girl. She's a country manager in the Philippines for a big whole program, and there's somebody else who's built a hospital and runs a hospital down in Jinja with some Americans. There are all sorts of different things. Like Rose is running this university. And a lot of them, they say, they come back to me and they say, that experience with you was the best foundation we had, you know, and then they were able to go on and build their careers. You know, so I take a lot of pride in that because, and you can still say I still work with young people, and they're the best to. But if you can't envision them and motivate them, you know, then you're not got the right people on the team.
So what is your approach towards motivating people to go there?
You have to be first of all passionate yourself. You first of all must believe in what you're doing. Like if you're doing something and it's just like, hey, you know, we can make a killing on this. Yeah, you might get the other guys with you like, I'm going to be rich. But it's not the best way to motivate people. You know, people will build their wealth and build that in time. But at first, it's something that you can believe in and be passionate about. And if you read the books, if you read any of those, the guy who started Nike, he wrote a book. I just thought he kept too much of the business for himself, but at the same time, he had a good team. And he lost some of those good people because he was a bit selfish in the way that the business developed. But you must believe in what you're doing, and you must be able to pass that on to other people. If other people are just there, okay, whatever you say, you know you have a team.
I mean, again, like you do your best, well, you try and do your best, but you often you do make mistakes, but then you try and do better the next time and learn from them. And as one of my board members said, it's fine to make mistakes, just don't make them again. So I think that you're always learning about that. I think my leadership style, I try to be as collaborative as possible. So we have team meetings. We've got quite a rigorous approach to the company in terms of how to scale. So we don't have endless meetings and like management by email. So every team uses exactly the same meeting format. Every stand-up follows the same format. Every, what we call them 10-10s, which is a way of kind of doing a personal report, is exactly the same. So wherever you are in the company, there's one way of doing things. And if you've got a good idea, you don't just email someone, you put it on the agenda for the next regular meeting. So one thing I've really learned that I wish I'd learned a long time ago is put in systems that actually save you time. Because if you're not answering like 1,000 emails, then you're talking about all the things that are important at one time, then that really helps streamline things. I think that's one big thing I've learned over the last, say, year and a half. And I really I'm more of an extrovert. Vula's been a remote first company from the beginning. So pre-COVID, this was really cool. But during COVID, obviously everyone was remote first. So we stopped being cool, but we still remote first. And I really miss everyone. And so what we do to compensate for that is that every 2 weeks we have a Vula game session, Vula vibe session, and we play an online game together. It's more like Pictionary or something simple like that. And it's just an opportunity for us to have a bit of a laugh and not talk about work for half an hour. And then I think just the key part of leadership is also just setting the goals and sticking to them. So we've got 1 year quarterly goals, annual goals, 5-year goals, and we stick to those. And if we say we're going to do something next quarter, which we plan the quarter before that, then we do it. We don't suddenly change. So there'll always be things that come across your desk and say, oh, this would be so cool. Let's get distracted and let's go and do this cool thing. What we do is we put them all onto the agenda for the next meeting. We look at the backlog and we choose very deliberately which ones we do. Because we're in a small company, that you won't die of starvation, but you might die of indigestion. So if there's too many ideas going around and too many things that you're trying to do at the same time, that's how your company will die, not because you're not doing the thing that you're supposed to do. So I think maybe that's one thing I've learned as well. Stay focused, don't deviate, and have systems in place that are scalable for the future.
I knew fairly quickly that I wasn't the best at doing stuff, and I have a very low attention span. I will think about many exciting things and get them started, but then quickly get bored by finding another exciting thing. So my work around that has been to find a way to always get the best talent, get them to buy into the vision I'm building, show them the ropes, get out of the way and become a cheerleader. So in Guardian, my job by the time we exited that company was essentially pass coffee at the office, listen to like 20 minutes of the numbers from my team. And as a vision holder, you never lose that sharp mind because you've run this company from being a sweeper, to being the guy who carries the boxes, to being the HR, to be so you're familiar with all the facets of the business, but you may not be so good at the nitty-gritties. I knew that for sure, and it didn't hurt me admitting that other people could do it better. So that humility I probably couldn't have had without the benefit of being in business from early on. And so it allowed me to get other people into positions of authority, and then I step aside and just make sure I equipped them and supported them through their work. It has worked, and I think it can work for anyone. It works as a charm. Then treating people with respect. My favorite person in Guardian. Okay, I had like 5. But one of my favorites was the border guy called Roger. He still is there. I met Roger in our first week in Kampala along Muyenga Road. And he was going about his duties as any border guy, so I had to deliver a product to a client, so I stopped him. And I also had meetings after that delivery. I'm like, okay, tugende. He stops, he was wearing a green shirt and what, big size. So I jump on his bike and we move. We deliver the product. The client delayed me, gave me tea. It was just up there in Muyenga. Gave me tea, and she engaged me in conversation, how we do business, what we hope to do. She was a successful business person, and she's seeing this young man hustling. He's from the University of Washington. Why isn't he back there doing his, rich people things like educated people? Why is he jumping on borders to deliver Panadol and augmentin and whatever? So she found it fascinating. So we stayed long, but the story is about Roger, not the client. We stayed longer than we should have. Come back, jump on a border, we go some other place. So in total, we spent like 5 hours with him. So after he brought me back to the pharmacy in Kampala, I'm like, how much do you want to be paid? He's like, give me 15,000. In my head, I'm like, I've spent a lot of time with this guy. He deserves at least 50,000 shillings. So I'm like, I thought you'd ask for like 50. He's like, no, 15 is fine. Let me tell you how. Why? It's like I get this bike from my boss. So there's borders have this thing of okuvuga ekibalwa. So he gets a border from someone and he gives him 10,000 at the end of the day. So then he needs to make sure he has money for fuel to start the day. He has money, he makes enough money to eat, and maybe another 10,000 for himself to save. So it's like, I get this bike on Chivalua. I have carried you to like 4 places. The only thing we've spent is time. The fuel I've used in total is probably 3,000 shillings. You've given me enough money to pay my boss. You've also bought me food. So the rest of the hours, I will just go back to the stage and look for 10,000 or 15,000 shillings, and my day has started. But also, if I'd driven back to Tintale, where my stage is, I could have had to wait maybe 20, 30 minutes for a client to come. I take them somewhere, they give me 2,000, I come back like that. So you've combined all this in one block. So 15 makes sense. We argued back and forth, eventually got him to accept 50. I said, okay, the rest is a gift. Next morning, he shows up to the pharmacy. He's like, you know what, I've thought about this. I see you're surrounded by hospitals. You have someone who talks to those doctors to refer prescriptions to you. The pharmacy in Kamalagala was surrounded by Chibuli Hospital, IHK, even as far back as that hospital in Bugolobi, then Zambia. Like, do you know all these doctors? Can't you get me someone? We got to talk to these doctors today and tomorrow, and then they can start referring prescriptions here, and then I can deliver the medicine. So you pay me 10,000 for the owner of my bike, 10,000 for my savings, you buy me lunch and fuel, like maybe 7,000 every day. I'm like, oh, I like how you think. I test him out. We go look for a nurse, diploma holder. Her job was to just be on this bike with him. But the first day I went with him to see the doctors. Prescriptions started flowing. He starts feeding them. We establish ourselves as guys who can deliver meds to all these hospitals. Business grows. Then eventually he comes back and says, oh, I saw a place, a pharmacy in Kansanga. They open at midday, they close at 3. I don't understand. You can take it over. Next, I stay in Chitintari, Nalavio Pharmacy Bugolobi. We buy it. So he probably helped us get half our locations. So eventually I got him he got some shares in the company. But we established a friendship. I was on the back of that border half the time I was in the country. And so from him I learned the importance of treating the sweeper the same way you treat the general manager of the company and the CFO. In fact, oftentimes I was more friendly to these guys than I was to the big boys. I would hold these big boys accountable to the needs of the smaller guys. And that permeated through the company, and it brought us a lot of goodwill. And it worked. When people buy into what you, the vision holder, are selling, it becomes much easier to work that way. So that's another lesson I learned growing up. I don't know what else. These are the lessons I really learned later after we survived collapse. It's important to have a board that can even fire you. Every day I was in Guardian. That board could have fired me from the company if they wanted, even if I as much as sneezed. Paying your employees well, coming through for them in more ways than one. So yeah, those are some of the lessons.
Hi everyone, my name is Kim Chababra and I am a physiotherapist. I am part of the amazing Mejo team where I help with project coordination. I just wanted to say a huge thank you. Thank you so much everyone. We've managed to hit over 1,200 subscribers and we have had over 6,000 views, and it's all because of your incredible support. If you're one of the thousands that is viewing but hasn't subscribed, we encourage you to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming very interesting and very engaging stories. And here is something exciting. We are going to be hosting our first ever live event in Kampala. It's going to be a fireside chat with Dr. Clarke, and we have only 20 in-person slots available. So if you're in Kampala and you're willing to attend and you're able to grab yourself one of these slots that are left, please hurry and get yourself one. Head to our pages to register and save yourself a spot. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. Let's grow our beautiful community together. Thank you.